Today, I'm very pleased to welcome you all to a very special webinar on your work from home engineered moments. And we have with us Rasha AlKady, the founder of Studio CAD and a principal architect. And I'm so proud that we can host Rasha today on this very unique topic because we only actually have one architect on the She's Arab platform. And I believe that during COVID-19, there's so many opportunities to redesign our home. So she definitely brings this expertise to the table. Rasha has also, worked as an architect and interior designer for over 15 years across the Middle East, and also on projects in Europe, in very renowned projects as part of the office of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and various other prestigious locations. I will stop there, on her achievements and let her talk about that through her presentation. In addition, she has won several awards for the work that she has presented across her journey. So very pleased to have Rasha with us. And before I hand over to her to start the session, I'd like to share some housekeeping rules. So in order to ask questions, I'm sure all of you by now with all the Zooms are very familiar with that, but you could either type your question in the Q&A box or actually raise your hand and we will unmute you to be able to ask your question. Rasha will be taking questions throughout the session. So at any point in time, please feel free to raise your hand in order to raise your questions. This is an interactive session. Thank you. And now I'm about to just share our screen in order to hand over to Rasha for her presentation.
Thank you, She's Arab. Thank you, Noha. Thank you, Summer, for this opportunity. I'm so proud to be your first architect talking about the design subject and what is happening due to the new norm of COVID-19. More and more people in these days are working from home. And it's not just because they are all in quarantine. With the technology, with the gig economy, and with increasing the flexibility of the companies, a lot of us are working from home, or basically the world is at your office, and your office now is probably your home office. But few of us actually sat down and thought about the kind of space that we need to work optimally. Creating any practical workspace, it's a very difficult task, and it's important, especially if your work has to do with productivity, which all of us assume that we need creativity and productivity in our working from home sessions. But again, it's not like one solution can fit all. So we have a lot of like different work types, different professions, different requirements at home, different habitats, different home layouts. So again, it's a very tailored process, and it's very different from one person to one person how your home office can look like. But the ideal workspace, it has like some tips and like main features and ideas that we are going to discuss through the presentation. So the first highlight I want to share with you is respecting the structure of our houses. Structure means that if we have the column or a recessed wall or a balcony, a terrace, a cove, a corner, all these are the structures of the house that we cannot play around or we cannot avoid. Again, I'm not discussing that we have a very specific office or study room that is closed with doors. I'm talking about the majority of the houses where the study or the office option cannot be there or probably is not there. So again, at the first slide, I'm discussing how to work around the structure of your house. So the successful office space has to be like physically has some boundaries, like as I said, like a terrace or part of the balcony or a recess or a cove or a space near your wardrobe or a corner. All these elements can work as a structural boundaries and can create this important of space can, instead of shutting a door, this can create for you a regimen for a space, or this is how you see the space can be formed and shaped. The accessories or how we decorate this space will come later on the other slides, but it's now, this is the main thing, is to choose a structure that fits the idea of having a home office or a dedicated corner or a designated corner for the work and the office. If we will go through the next slide, we will have another main element or main feature. Perfect. So again, it's super important to work with the colors, or with the vision, or with what the eye can see. Colors in architecture or interior design has different reflections on the person himself or herself. So studies showed that the color yellow is the color of the warmth, it's the color of the wisdom and prosperity. So a room colored in yellow can look very cheerful and friendly and airy and encouraging for productivity and work. As well as the red color. The red color stimulates and excites our senses. So again, the red, but we have to be very careful while using the red in the spaces, because it's a very bold and very vibrant color. A pop of green is always required and recommended in the spaces. So the green, when it comes to the green can be paint, and beside that also you can bring the inside out by having some plants, some nature photography, some artworks, again talking about nature, a wallpaper, and I personally prefer the wallpaper, because the wallpaper is the easiest suggestion that can create corners for you at houses. It's very easy to upgrade your house by sticking wallpaper, and there is a lot of removable wallpaper options that can be stick in and stick out. It depends on the mood, it depends on the trend, it depends on the season, depends on the pattern that we like. Sometimes we have patterns, we want to change these patterns according to our mood. So I really advise on, again, creating the corner or creating the structure of your office at home using wallpapers or using bold colors. On the next slide, if the corners are not available, or if the colors are not our taste, another option to create the structure of your home office space is to have an open space. The more open the space, the more open-minded the people will feel. But sweeping vistas and super tall ceilings don't come cheap, and it's not available at the majority of our houses. So the good thing that we have in interior design or in architecture, countless ways just to create the sensation of limitless spaces between our four thin walls. For example, we have at the first picture, putting your desk near a window. This is one of the very successful tricks that the person can do. Having your office or having your desk near a window, this brings the openness of the outside. This brings the open plan or open space that we are looking at. Again, if we can place a mirror in a very strategic location, can bounces the light around the space. This also can help. Turning your desk to the room, as the second picture or the picture in the middle we are seeing. So turning your desk to the room instead of the wall, that in this way that gives your eye an imagination and can bounce around instead of staring just at a patch of paint a few inches from your face on the wall. So these tricks again can help modifying the structure of the house while we don't have it. Sitting next to a window or have a mirror, or just looking inside the room instead of looking outside or looking out of the wall. In the next slides, we have more of creative touches or simple ideas that can help us regardless of the structure of our houses. So for example, one of the most important things that we have to consider while having a dedicated space at home for the office or for work, is finding the perfect spot. Again, the perfect spot, it differs from a profession to the other. So, for example, if you're an architect, so your perfect spot might be a long communal table, which can be your dining table, though that I don't advise to start working at the dining table unless you create your coziness and your corner there. Because the space gives you complete privacy. If you have a garage, if you think that you can work in the kitchen where you can stay close to your kids or your house chores, an ideal location is what will help you stay focused and creative. This is your ideal spot. Again, it's different from one person to the other, from one family to the other, from one profession to the other. But the best thing to do is make the most of the underutilized spaces and revamping these spaces and corners at house. It can be a neglected corner, it can be your dining table, it can be part of your open kitchen if you have a kitchen like that big, or it can be just a window that has some space next to it, like the first picture from left. So again, finding your perfect spot is what will help you at first determining where is your home office can be. If we go through the next slide, find a well-lit space. This is so important for us. As long as we know, I mean, we have the sun here in Dubai, the full day, almost till like 6:30 or 7 p.m. So we have enough time and enough sunlight coming to our houses. The ideal location, again, it has to be well lit. Depends on the profession, again. The majority of the people who use their hands or use sketching or writing, if they were right-handed, they should have the light coming from their left side, or the window should be coming from their left side. If they are left-handed, so the light should come from the right-hand side, so they will not be trapped in shades and shadows on whatever tasks they are doing. If we have blinds and Venetian blinds or any kind of curtains, again, we can control the light impact to the room or to the task or to our screens. But if we don't have windows, so we have to play with different light resources. Like we have the chandeliers, or we have the ceiling lights, we have the table lights or the task lights, and we have the floor lamps. Playing with different lighting and playing with different levels of the lighting can help you setting the mood and setting the right lighting and sufficient lighting for whatever task you're doing from home. Again, if it was something related to crafts and handcrafts, it has to be, I prefer the natural light. If it's not available, then we can work with different light sources in different light distributions. And again, the furniture itself, the colors of the furniture helps us in this as well. I mean, if you have a tiny room or a small room, then I advise to use light furniture colors, because again, the lighter the furniture, it brings this lighting and pleasant feeling to the space. So we have to take care of the natural light from the sun through the windows and the artificial light, which is the chandeliers or the different light sources, and it can be dimmable as well. So this is a very controlled way to have the light inside your working space, and working on the furniture in terms of colors or in terms even of thicknesses and in terms of dimensions and in terms of like materials and finishes. You don't have a small space and you put a very heavy piece of furniture or a bold a sofa there, or a huge desk out of proportions. This will bring the place or your space to narrow or to shrink compared to what we are looking for. So if we start looking at the next slide, storage. Storage while working from home is a very important point. we have to get a sufficient storage. This is because of keeping track of work and maintaining a clean desk and decluttering your space. Decluttering and organizing your files and folders is so important, and it gives you the feeling of relaxing, and that feeling of that everything is in place, so you are ready to go and tackle whatever tasks you are having. These creative solutions are different. So if you have a place at the wall, you can place some shelves above your desk level. If you don't have this space, you can place some drawers, you can place the rattan baskets, or just like a laundry, even a laundry basket there. Magazine racks can work as well. So the solutions and the options are huge, and even if we are in like lockdown, we still have the online shops are still selling their pieces. I'm not promoting to buy pieces that does not fit your space, but again, I mean, you can do it yourself at home. You can think of different ideas from the pieces that are already existing at home. If you need an extra piece here or there to buy it, and it's according to your budget, then it's fine to add like small pieces that can reflect on your productivity level and your working from home like new life. Another point which is super important in the feeling of our working from home time is pin up your wall. It's super important to create or recreate the feeling or the office moments at home. This again, it works with the psychology of the person who's she or he is doing their tasks. So if you have a pin board, magnet board, or even just a blank wall space next to your desk, it would be an ideal place to recreate some of your real office space. Pin up schedules, phone numbers, notes, pictures, photos of office moments or colleagues, whatever can give you some inspiration. For example, we are in architecture or interior design, we have these, we start usually our projects with what we call a mood board. A mood board, it has a lot of like inspiration photos, materials, colors, shapes, features from nature, whatever you think can bring the inspiration to you while working from home, just stick it there, and this shall keep you quick and tuned in into your office mood. A beautiful tip to discuss as well is find your book. I advise you to have some, again, some shelves there. If they are already located at your house, you can move them around, or if you can order, or if you can do it yourself at home, just stack some books and magazines over these shelves next to your desk or next to your working spot. This is the time for us to read and to be inspired and to have all the motivations that we lack due to the fast pace of life that we usually have. So just have your racks there, your shelves, stack them with books, magazines, any inspiring and motivating material or sources, and be ready to pick them and digest new ideas. This time is all about developing ourselves and evolving. So whatever was, there's no time for it before, now it's the time to have it. Again, it's all related to what you like to read, how you prefer to have them, magazines, books, boxes of samples. Again, it's different, depends on the profession of each person and how you want the dynamic of your new office at home. In the next slide, we will have an option of smart work desks and smart furniture pieces. Here we go. So the smart work desks, if you're starved for space in your living area and you don't have any room for floor pieces or for, we call it like horizontal pieces, then go vertical. A completely collapsible workspace can be a solution to this problem. Folded desk, folded shelves, smart units that can be installed or fixed to the wall or can even be removable. All these desks folds up occupy the space that we need, which is the vertical space. It doesn't occupy any horizontal space or any like floor space of our area, living area or bedroom, even on the dining room. It's a very smart solution compared to the other bulky desks and pieces of furniture, and it allows us to utilize the small and the unused corners at the house. A compact floating work desk can be the answer to what are you looking for. But again, if your work doesn't cope with this and you need more space, then you have to go to the default working spaces and desks. But this is a very interesting and smart solution for the laptop or for kids at their homeschooling and having like different small chairs and colored chairs or different desks for more than a kid, for 2 or 3. So I guess with our houses, this can be a very practical solution to use our walls, not the floors. For the next tip from working from home and changing our environment is to stay fit. Again, to stay fit, this can be achievable with so many different ways. But one of the ways that we can advise in interior design and when it comes to design our homes and our houses is just to create your small wall or feature wall for your fitness. It actually doesn't matter if you're a yogi or if you need those dumbbells there or you need your skipping rope or whatever you're thinking of. A small wall can do magic for you, and just a 30 minutes workout before your work is a really good jolt of caffeine that you can start your day with. It will open up your mind, it will get you focused and feeling fresh. And I really advise to make it part of your daily routine. Even at the garage, if you have this like pegs and you can do your pegboard, you can install different gadgets there for your exercise. Just choose what you want to do, or even have just around 30 minutes walk around your coffee table can do the same. Just keep your daily routine and have a fresh start and feeling before your work. The last tip and design insight I want to share with you is surrounding yourself with things you love. So in addition to all the essentials that came in the previous slides, just make sure to incorporate elements that will make you happy and reduce stress. It's a very stressful time these days with all the uncertainty there. So you need really to want to have your new home office filled with your personal touches. This will definitely help boost your morale. Your personal touch can be your family pictures, can be your souvenirs from travels all around the world, can be your plants, can be your accessories, can be a lot of things that have your personal touch. I mean, the options are really wide and the variety is there. You can add the touch of greenery, the plant, cactus, whatever can brighten up your mood and your work area. After all, this is your personal space and it should have your personal touch. And again, try to use a lot of greenery. It brings the outside and keep the fresh breeze inside your house and keep the clutter to minimum. So these were a few tips and design ideas that I hope could help you reset the mood at your house and restore your design imagination. And they are just very simple tips and affordable tips. I mean, with design, you can go crazy. But again, we don't need to go over the budget these days. We just need to stick to what we have at home. Think about changing location of the pieces of furniture that you have. If we started from the beginning, you have to think about a structure. So when you have a structure, a proper structure, like a wall, beam, columns, corner, recess, start looking at your pieces of furniture that you have at home. Check the sizes, if the sizes can fit those places or not. If you have an access to a wallpaper, or just if you want to paint the wall, pick a very energetic color that you like and start painting this wall. Start putting your wallpaper, start putting your pinup board, start putting those personal touches there. Look at the lighting, if the lighting is sufficient, the natural light, or you need to change and play with the artificial light which comes from the ceiling as chandelier or floor lamp or task light. Even a small change as changing your table lamp shade, for example, if you have it in black and you want to change it in a very vibrant, fresh color or pattern, this can help again resetting your mood and help you freshen up the air. Stay away from busy areas as much as you can, and stay away from distraction and where you feel that you will always lose focus and lose your sight just engaging with other households or domestic work at your home. Feel free to have your kitchen table or your dining table to work, as long as you can zone it, or you can put your borders there to visually see your office happening there. It's all about playing with what we have, not necessary to buy or to overload our budget now with new pieces or new things. It's just smartly thinking of how we can utilize our unused corners and pieces of furniture. And I hope that the tips could help you and support you opening up your design imagination and having a better ideas about how you utilize your space at home for your work.
Thank you very much, Rasha, for this amazing presentation. Personally, I'm not a design expert, but I learned a lot through all the tips and tricks, and I wanted to open the floor now for questions. So if anybody has a question, please drop it in the Q&A or raise your hand and we'll give you the floor. So at the moment, we actually have one question, and it says, I share my workspace with my husband and I'm homeschooling. So our workspace ends up being filled with children's school books, sheets, in addition to markers and papers. It's stressful and difficult to get the beautiful pictures you showed us. Any tips regarding that?
Yes, for sure. I mean, the most important thing is the organizers. So if you have like 2 kids or 3 kids, again, organizing the space. If you're sharing one table, it's very nice to work with organizers and folders and boxes, and keep it in color code. Color code works the best for kids, especially. For example, if you have a boy and a girl, you can make them choose the color codes that they prefer for their boxes, and these are their boxes with their folders, with their papers. As much as we can, we try to keep it organized, because we know the mess when the homeschooling goes into the work and everything is just working, trying to work it together. So I advise to keep, again, some illusional borders. You can create it with just folders, or you can create it with boxes or organizers. Choose a color for each one, for you, for your husband, and for your kids. And then start like teaching them that, okay, all the blues goes to the boy, for example, or the red will go to the girl, or the white will go to the wife, and everything black is for the husband. Like this, if they start visually engaging in okay, whatever is red belongs to me, they will start pick the organization or how to organize the space by themselves. It's very interesting, and I mean, you choose the colors that you prefer or what goes with your house interior. And believe me, if you start like coding your personals according to the colors, it will help you a lot. Yes, while working again or while schooling from home, everything can be mixed up, but you can dedicate different hours, for example, for the mother to work and the father to work, and you have like your schedule pinned on the wall with when mom in and when mom out, when the dad in and when the dad is out. So putting a schedule and organizing your belongings on that desk according to a color code can help you a lot without making any like significant effort in changing where you're all studying or working.
Another question is from Radwa AlKady. She says, I loved your presentation. I have 2 kids, both under 4 years old, struggling to keep with their toys and stuff limited to one space in the house. It's driving me crazy. How can I handle their needs as well as mine and having some space for myself? So, you know, again, as women as well, we always need this me time. So what are your advices for that?
Again, thank you for your question, Radwa, but you have to work with, you cannot, in your living room, you cannot just work, for example, if you're having a desk or you, I don't know if you have a desk or you don't have a desk, you have to start visualizing again the space where you can have a desk. I shared a lot of ideas for small desks that can vary from a corner desk to just like an openable shelf or a hanged wall shelf or a hanged unit. The variation and the options are multi in interior design, and it can suit each single space. If it was small or if it was big, you have to have a desk, a place where it's designated mentally and emotionally to work. Away from the kids' toys and away from where the sofa, away from the TV corner. Even if you have a small space like, let's say, a 3x3 room or even a 2x2 room, visualize bubbles, visualize zones, visualize different areas to work this living room. If it was a 3x3, visualize a corner for your desk. Visualize another corner for the TV and the kids watching TV or whatever engagement is there on the TV, and visualize another bubble for the toys. Normally, the toys can be next to the TV, but not your desk or not your working space. And start working on that working space by putting again your personal touch. You have to have a flat surface, even if it was a small surface, like a 30 centimeter by 60 centimeter. You have to have your space, you have to have your pin board, you have to have your folders and papers and documents. It has to work this way. I mean, you cannot start working from the sofa and think that you are working and you are struggling with the kids. I know it might not be an option to have a full designated working area, but any of the tips that we shared through the presentation, a lot of them are super easy, super simple. I don't want to promote for brands, but can easily be found online, or you can customize it, or even if you have just a small shelf at home, try to utilize it in 1 or 2 of the ideas that we shared in the presentation. You have to make it happen. You have to create it, even if it was a small layout, just for your mind to have this routine and start working on, like, okay, this is my office, this is my desk, this is my time, this is my belongings, I'm in mood, I'm ready, then the work will start. It will never be vice versa, and it cannot be created out of no order. You have to start addressing your room in a different order, and when you put the order, then it will come smoothly.
Wonderful. And another question on the same related topic is, like, what if you have no balcony, or, you know, in smaller living places, like, for example, you know, you're in a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and you have no balcony even, and you need to work out, work and eat in the same area. What's the best use of the space?
Again, it depends. I don't have the layout. I wish that the person who asked the question can share the layout. But even if you don't have the balcony and you have a window, I assume that all of us would have a window if it was even a studio or 1-bedroom, it would at least have a window. So the first thing that the window should be next to your, again, working space or working top, I would call it. Even a 60 centimeter or a 50 centimeter for the audience to know what is a 60 centimeter. A 60 centimeter is just an A4 sheet, 2 of the A4 sheets. So this is all what you need. You need a 60 centimeter by 40 centimeter. It can be folded up shelf, or it can be just a hanging shelf from the wall. This is the first thing that you need to address, starting from the window. So you have the window, you have your working surface or working desk, and then you will put your bedroom. If you have your bed, if it was a studio or a small space, and your working out should be, but ideally can be on the wall opposite the TV. For example, if you have a TV at one end of your room, then your stay fit or your workout wall can be on the other side. So you will grab whatever dumbbells, things, and you can watch some kind of videos or exercises. And again, you can have your 30 minutes start of the day. The picture that we shared for the Stay Fit, it's very simple. It's again, it's a pegboard that anyone can do it and can have it at home. It's so simple, it's so easy, it doesn't require a lot to fix it. And it's very personalized. Again, it depends on what machines or tools, or if you have the flexibility ball, or if you have your yoga mat or dumbbells. Again, it's very customized based on what this person prefer or how they want to exercise during the day.
Wonderful. So we have a few comments, not questions. So someone is saying, I love this amazing presentation. It's very useful tips. Thank you. Totally relate to what you're saying. And then we have an additional question now, which is, if my house is all open space, is it okay to create a corner for my desk, or it's okay to be multitasking area for multi-usage, to put the desk in a multitasking, multi-usage area?
It's a very beautiful question. Again, it depends on the home layout and the experience or the feeling that this person want to create. If you want to keep it a very open space, yes, you can. I mean, doing corners, it's not necessary to build walls. I want the audience to visualize the corners. Like, yes, a corner needs 2 walls, but again, no. If you put a rug, like a square rug, on the corner of your room, you created a corner. It's not necessary that you build a wall, but you create a corner visually with a red rug on the floor. So you have these 2 like sides of the rug next to the wall, and then the other 2 sides, these are the 2 corners of your working space. So again, it's up to the person who asked the question. I prefer, if it was a small house, to keep it an open space and visually create the illusion of having corners by a rug, by painting these 2 walls, by having shelves on the walls and stop it at the edge of the desk. So you have the shelves on the wall creating your walls and creating your corners. The ideas again are, and the options are so many, but you can keep it an open space and visually creating that corners by pieces of furniture, like shelves on the walls, a chandelier on the ceiling, if it was a square one, or a rug on the floor as a square or a rectangular rug. So I hope I answered her or his question.
Wonderful. So we have a question from Dr. Samira, and I will unmute her now so she can ask it herself. Dr. Samira, you have the floor for your question.
Thanks. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Thank you very much for this very informative session. I enjoy it a lot, and it gives me inspiration about how to have space work or space for work. So just a comment, because I enjoyed a lot this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment.
Thank you, Dr. Samira. Yes, the ideas in design and interior design are like huge. I mean, we have plenty of ideas that we can share with all the audience. Again, in the presentation, I wanted to keep it simple, to keep it affordable, and to keep it easily done by everyone at home now. It's not that they will refurbish the full house just to create their office corner or their working from home corner. Again, small and few tips and tricks here and there can make a big, really big difference.
Okay, and we have another question from Dana. Dana, you have the floor.
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you very much for this lovely presentation. It's really refreshing, different from all the heavy load business topics. Rasha, great ideas. I love the pictures. Now, the question may be still very relevant to the interior design and the offerings and the suggestions you have given us, but it's on the other side. We are doing a lot of virtual meetings, whether it's internal with the team or sometimes with clients or customers or partners. And I'm interested in the background. I know some of these designs are really lovely and we have personal stuff and personal pictures, but we hear a lot also from experts about avoiding these when you're doing calls or business meetings. So what do you suggest about the background? I mean, not just looking forward, because I know when we are doing these calls, we should avoid windows behind us, or we should avoid distracting, people with personal stuff. If we're looking at a temporary solution for this challenging time, what are your recommendations on maintaining these business, let's say, backgrounds, but at the same time, keeping it as personal and a piece of you? Any tips there? Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Dana, for the question. If you are in a business state, you know that you will require those long hours in front of your camera or Zoom meetings or Google meeting. You have to start creating the wall behind you. For sure, it shouldn't be a window, because the window, unless the curtains are down. So you shouldn't create any kind of distractions at your background. It can be a wall, it can be some inspirational quotes on the wall that you can print and stick. I prefer to make it personal, or to keep it personal, because now everyone is welcomed at our houses. So they need to see your personal touch there. Again, if the best thing I can advise you is to have your PC or your camera, and then the wall is at the back, so you just again prevent yourself from any distraction. It depends again on the habitant of that house. If you have your kids, for example, your meetings at night and your kids by that time they are sleeping, you are free to use your camera or to use your PC from any place of the house. But if not, then choose a corner where the walls are behind you and start personalizing this wall. Paint, wallpaper, pinboard, inspirational quote, vignette, collage. It depends again on your profession and how you want to present yourself. A color can present you, an artwork can present you, a quote can present you. So I prefer make it personal. Stay away from any kind of distractions. Again, it's up to you. Maybe you want to choose to show the whole house from behind you. But again, it depends on the habitant of the house or the family or the family norms of that house. But the minimal we can say, just keep a wall behind you, make it personal, put your personal touch there, and you are ready.
Dana says good tips and many thanks for that, for your answer. This is unrelated to COVID, but knowing that you have an extensive background in redesigning communities, or for example, working with NGOs and community associations to design spaces for children to play, or, redesigning their spaces. Do you have any advice for these organizations during COVID, or in general when approaching this at very low cost, redesigning your home or redesigning an NGO or any space? What are the creative ways to make the best use of that?
Yes, me myself, I work with a lot of charity and NGOs, and it's always the budget, the budget, the budget. Everyone is scared about going over the budget, and hiring a designer would bring the budget to just, a very critical numbers. And I think that no, we did a lot of successful projects. And it's not about, yes, I know that the budget is should be very well respected. However, creativity has nothing to do with the budget. Yes, some of the projects, when we're working at very high-end projects, or we want to impress, or you're doing a 7-star hotel or a 5-star hotels, will depend highly on the budget and the items that you are using there. But a majority of the NGOs and the other type of projects, no, we have a very certain budget that we have to respect. So the thing behind all the successful projects that we did is the creativity. When you are creative, you can start thinking of alternative solutions and go back and forth with the organization. And when they see the passion, and when they see the dedication, and when they see how you want to provide those children or their kids or the people using that office with the best, they will start being flexible. Again, not flexible about the budget, but flexible about listening to alternative solutions. We have always solutions. If it was the piece can cost 1,000 dirham and it can cost 100 dirhams. Yes, it won't be the same quality, but again, it depends on the expertise of the person who's working. You can take some of the aesthetic part of this piece or this design, bringing the functionality in its place, and then compromising the budget, as long as the fancy like look or style is not needed there. So number one is functionality. Number two is the appearance and how it looks for the kids, especially working with kids. So working with kids, we do a lot of colorful projects, and this work with kids. The kids, they don't care about if this was made in Europe or it's made in like the local factory behind their orphanage, but they love colors. And this is how we worked a lot of like brilliant projects with colors, just playing with colors. And again, with the passion and dedication, we could bring a lot of artists together, donating their time and their work and effort in doing something special for these kids. So yeah, so a lot of factors work when it comes to NGO and working with the special needs kids, or with orphanages, or with the people with a very strict budget. We have to think out of the box, and we have to be creative, and this is our job. It's not just thinking of a brilliant idea and just throw it to the organization and say, look what, I'm the designer and this is what I believe in, and I just cannot change anything. No, you have to be practical and passionate and cooperative with them before being a designer. I mean, you have to bring your ego down as a designer, and you have to be a human being first before anything else.
Wonderful. I think we have 5 minutes left, and I'm not seeing any more questions coming in, but I actually do have one myself. One day you actually talked to me about the fact that beauty does not have to do with materialism or the amount of money that you can beautify a place. I'd love it if you can elaborate on that belief of yours, because I think it's very unique and special for a designer.
Okay, let me answer. Thank you for your question. Let me answer the first part of it. Again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. This is what I believe in. And yes, a lot of people, they work on the budget, and a lot of designers, they work on the most expensive pieces and branded pieces and the designer pieces to bring this beauty and allure and sophistication to their houses or offices or hotels. But this is not how a creative person or a creative designer should work. I mean, if you have an open budget, good and well. If the pieces are needed there, it's okay. If it's not needed, we work, or the professional people work based on a concept. I like always to have a concept. So for your office, your home, your hotel, whatever was the project, you have to have a concept. And the concept starts from the client feedback and the discussions with the client. So you have to capture the client personality and or the family personality if they're working in houses, and start translating this personality and those needs into a dialogue, into a story, into a journey, and start narrating this story. Yes, sometimes you have to go with the expensive pieces and very eye-catching pieces, but this is not the beauty. The beauty of a design is to have a one story, a one journey, where everything is describing the owner of this house or office or hotel or whatever was the project. So, and I believe that this is the success of the designer. It's not just implementing your vision and your taste without taking into consideration what are the other factors that you have in the project. So yes, beauty and very interesting projects we did was actually one of our projects with one of the developers. We won an international award for in London, and it was a very strict budget for those towers. They were 2 towers, and with developers, I mean, the budget is so super strict. But because we had a concept and we fought for this concept and we kept choosing and changing and finding alternatives, I mean, we won an award and the project was up to the budget. So again, it's not about how fancy pieces or how expensive pieces you put there. The more expensive pieces you put, the more that you hide your expertise as an expert or as a professional designer. Because these items or these pieces will show first before your expertise. And we don't work this way. We work high-end projects and we work a very charity and limited budget projects. And each project on itself should say story or should tell its own story. And this is the challenges that we have to face. And here you can differentiate a good designer from just a mediocre one. I want to thank you very much, Noha and Summer and She's Arab, for the opportunity of sharing those tips with your audience. I really appreciate the opportunity and starting a platform of designers and architects with the She's Arab. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rasha, for your time and for this amazing, brilliant session. It's been very engaging. And, you know, at She's Arab, we hope that we can bring our members more and more interesting success stories of role models such as yourself from every field. So wish you all a wonderful rest of Ramadan for those who celebrate, and wonderful evening and month for the rest.